before I hit go, let me see if I can swap over
to my phone. I hit go. We're live.
No, before. Yes, fine. Sorry, before I get in the show, because once we're in the show mode, I don't want to stop and deal with this. But no, you can do it live. It's fine.
All right.
Because it's already there, so it has to be fine. Wi-Fi.
Oh, it's our affiliate anniversary, apparently.
Oh, well, look at that.
On Twitch.
Mobile hotspot. Turn that on. And now let's go kill the live show for a second.
Murder!
Mega marathon.
Candy Mountain Charlie.
All right, let's connect. Because it's saying on my cell signal I have full bars. Let's make sure it's not the Wi-Fi signal. So let me turn off that.
The magical Leopleurodon.
All right. So I am not connected to Wi-Fi on my phone. I am now connected, but I'm going to have to disconnect the hard line. So let me climb into my desk again. Hold your ears, young ones.
Okay.
It is mandated by safety OSHA standards that you have to use 4-letter words when working on things.
Yeah. Like fart. Oh, man. Okay, let's see. Let's hack. That's another 4-letter word. Back. Knack. Rack.
And now
fire.
It's back. Yeah, that didn't say 4-letter words. It's back. I am only connected through my phone, and it's still the same problem. Still the same problem. So I want to do a speed test for funsies, and then we're just gonna go because I'm very much over.
So you're not stuttering now. Your image is a lower quality, but you're not stuttering. It's about the same quality, really, but it's not stuttering now.
Yeah, my download off. It's definitely on my phone because this T-Mobile is the ping site.
And actually,
your 200 down.
Your image is cleared up now too.
I take this episode of Wise and Nerdy brought to you by Internet Acne Cream. Oh yeah, no, look, my phone is saying 62 up, 63 up. So that's what I'm doing it off of right now, which means I get to try to find some time to fight with Comcast because it's a wait in the line thing, and it's a battle of attrition. We need to talk about that on this show at some point. Yo, what was your biggest battle of attrition with the internet company? Because they want you to hang up. They will delay stuff to make you hang up. Anyway.
At this point, it might be worth looking into T-Mobile's 5G internet provider thing instead of, because they provide home internet too through their 5G signal.
You know, you're not wrong, sir.
Because, I mean, that'd be way cheaper than trying to look at like Starlink or something. Because Starlink's meant for like people out in the boonies.
Well, I tend to stick to the big guys, but I want Google to come out here anyway. I want fiber. I want any fi. I want any fiber that I get my hands on. All right, but I'm gonna hit the button.
So you have zero fiber options then.
Kind of. Let's save it for the post show.
Okay.
Get ready to laugh out loud with Wise and Nerdy, the show hosted by two hilarious dads who bring their unique blend of wit, wisdom, and nerdiness to the airwaves. From sharing hilarious anecdotes about their own experiences to giving advice on navigating the ups and downs of life, these two dads have got you covered. But that's not all. They're also obsessed with all things nerdy, from comic books and sci-fi movies to video and board games. So whether you're a fellow dad, a pop culture fanatic, or just in need of a good laugh, this is Wise and Nerdy. And now let's have some fun.
I am so glad I let's get it right. Take two. I am so glad I opted for the let's have some fun versus let's show you a good time, because that could be taken off. So hey, that's Joe _R. How you doing, Joe?
Doing good. A lot better than you.
A lot better than me. Yeah. Yeah.
You don't even have a subtitle tonight. That's how
I know. I'm
out of it you are. Is it going to say frustrated, Daddy?
Repressed, Daddy? Is that what it is? My tech is repressing me right now.
4-letter word, Daddy.
Yeah, the patron version of this thing. You may or may not have heard a few things. So, I know we in the past we like to joke about, I'm the rock guy, technical issue, blah blah blah. But quite literally, this one is 100% out of my hands, and it's so frustrating because I did all the work. This is pre-question of the week rant right here, everybody. But I think you all will understand. You'll identify with this. Is that I did all the work to not just make sure I purchase a nice package of internet, right? I got much higher down than I needed, which is the gig down speed. And the dumbest thing is, I know, depending on the scenario, but for the most part, I know you can do 1-to-1, meaning you have 1,000 down, 1,000 up. Everybody in my area, I don't know what it is, if they just want to squash the streamers, if what they did, or if it's just really old thinking of commercialism. But nobody wants to sell more than a 30 or 40 up, which is dumb. Like, hey, we'll give you 1,000 down and 40 up. Well, I can live with 40 up, especially if nobody else is streaming.
If you actually got 40 up.
If I actually got it up. Oh, see, that's a bad clip. That's a bad clip. Don't clip that, Joe. Don't you do it, man. But yeah, we were doing. I went out and rebooted my modem, rebooted the router, plugged from the modem directly into my computer, right? Because that's the other work I did. I spent about $200 to get the 60-foot cable. I think it was 100-foot cable. I don't remember. It's a decently long Cat 6 cable, rated for outdoors, that we ran through conduit out to my studio directly from the modem. So it wasn't the router. I moved it to the modem, rebooted the router, got out here, and you're 40 or up. You may need a happy little pill to get your internet speeds up. You're correct on that, Joe. And so, physically speaking, distance can be a thing, but the ping is not there. I'm getting still 1,000 down, but it gave me 40 up to start with. Cool, we're good. But then I saw the symbol. Well, maybe it's StreamYard, maybe it's Mozilla, maybe there's something else. And Joe's like, yeah, you're all, ippity dippity. And I don't even know what that meant. I thought it was a Mormon thing, but sure, whatever, Joe. And then it turns out it's Comcast right now. And yeah, everybody wants to get on there, but I hate look, I
do hate Comcast.
I hate AT&T. They're the biggest crap load in the world in my area. We tell many stories about that. But Comcast, I've had a great experience with until the last couple of months, where it's been up and down. And now it literally, I rebooted everything. It was at 40 for one test. And then Joe was like, man, but you're being froggy. You're being ippity dippity again. Like, stop with ippity dippities, Joe. Nobody, including your kids, know what that means. So anyway,
that's clippable.
I'm now so now I'm on my T-Mobile cellular network, and it's screaming smooth. So now one day, hopefully we can say this show brought to you by T-Mobile. You need more pink in your life? All daddies do. Go to tmobile.com/wise_and_nerdy for your 15% off today. But that is not true today, but one day.
One day. Question of the week.
Sponsored by T-Mobile. All right. So let's assume you went back to high school. Would you rather be the most popular kid in school or the smartest kid in school? And I don't want to hear, I know you're going to be like, I was both. But no,
I was both. What are you, Joe? What is your answer?
You're the little girl from the Crunchy Taco commercial. Why not both?
Yeah, why not both? But I was. Well, I'll tell that story. Go ahead.
Smartest, and because high school only lasts so long, and the popularity in high school doesn't matter later in life at all, whereas the intelligence that you have can continue on.
Okay. I think that's a little bit of a cop out, and so I'm going to argue with you a little bit.
Good.
Yes, intelligence is important, and you can always build intelligence. I'm not saying you should want either one. That's why these things are the extremes, right? Because there's always a balance to be found in real life. But yes, on the surface, with your ippity dippity little scenario there, on the surface, now you got me saying it. Dude, you're so influential. You're so influential, man.
I'm a trailblazer.
You are. But the idea of being able to navigate social circumstances is a strength that a lot of people don't have. And no, high school is not typically the place you learn it. You have your cliques, you have the popular kids, you have what's all the stereotypes, right? You got the cheerleaders, you got the jocks, you got the dumb kids, you got the smart kids, you got the misfits, the nonconformists that all look like that kind of thing.
That all look alike.
Yeah. I mean,
you're cutting them deep. Cutting them deep.
My daughter has a great t-shirt that's in the style of South Park. I don't know if it's an official South Park t-shirt, but it says, "I will not conform." And every last one of them has the same black haircut and the same black shirts and mascara. And, yeah, it's great. She gets the irony. That's why she bought it. So anyway, yes, if the popularity is only because people like you and that was your heyday, 100% agree with you, Joe. If I had to choose one path, it would be the intelligent path, because intelligence sometimes can bring you a better life. I say sometimes. Have you met my father-in-law?
No.
He is
but I've heard a lot of stories.
You have. He is very smart. Very smart. Zero ability to connect A to Z sometimes without the in-betweens, right? As you infer things, right? Or I mean, everything's just very cut and dry. And he's very engineer minded, and not very social at all. And so that's kind of for me the example of I want to be the smartest kid type of deal. I mean, you met Little Red's dad, Big Red, Soulless Red, Big Soulless Red. New name. Love it. All right,
Big Ginger.
You're careful which audience you say that to. That hard R, like man, that hard R will get you in trouble. So anyway,
that's not a hard R.
It's a Friday afternoon, everybody. Nobody's been drinking or anything yet, and this is the day you're gonna get. All right. So but for me, you said high school. In high school, I was the most popular kid, and not because I was just homeschooled. I'm using my interactions.
Mom, I'm so popular.
My mama liked me. She said I was a good kid. My people took my fish and said I was a good kid too.
I was the homecoming queen, and my mom was the homecoming queen. Or I was homecoming king,
and
my mom was the homecoming queen.
Joe cleaned it up. But yeah, no, I am using my actual interactions with. I scored higher on my tests. I outrun people on answers. I had the intelligence, but I also had the way to connect with everybody. I could do sports and hang out with the jocks. I could be the nonconformist and talk about how the world's messed up. And you're right, we don't need to fit into that crap and all that stuff. So yeah, but you say college. I'd much rather be the most popular than the smartest, because there's some really, I mean, you got to pick the school, right? But you talk about Harvard, I'd rather be popular at Harvard than the smartest, because that's a lot of work. And you're talking about competing with 12-year-olds who are geniuses going to the school. I ain't competing that, but I know I'll get invited to that party when that kid won't. So screw him.
Yes, Sheldon Cooper. Screw you, Sheldon Cooper.
Oh my God. So what would you after that, what's your rebuttal? What's your, you still stand on you want to be the most intelligent?
Well, so it also depends. Like, if you don't pick most intelligent, that doesn't necessarily make you automatically dumb. If you don't pick the most popular, it doesn't mean that you're like hyper unpopular. It's not to that extreme, I don't think. I mean, we could play it like that, but and so I started off with intelligence, but as I got to thinking about it, high school, other than the getting your diploma and then moving on, because most people, that's not the end of their education. Well, for a lot of people, I don't know what those statistics are. And so being popular would definitely get you a lot more memories. And so if you're thinking of it from a memory building standpoint, yeah, your experiences are going to be, I don't know if more vibrant is the term I want to go with, but definitely a different kind of vibrant. And you would have a lot more social experiences, obviously. And so there is something to say about being popular and gaining social experience and social intelligence, because that is an entirely separate skill from being a book smart person. And you can get very far in life with advanced social skills.
Yeah, I am definitely king of that. Part of my brand is not remembering names, but that's only part of the brand. It's funny. I lean into it. Sometimes I purposely get all ippity skippity on it. But it is very much also a real thing. The people who work with me for long periods of time. I mean, Joe, you could be funny, but you also could be real about, you want details. That's what Joe's here for. Joe remembers little details. And I don't. Joe, if you argue, I would not actually argue. I mean, it depends on what the trivia was, but you talked about a lot of things in life. I guarantee you Joe's smarter than I am on a lot of areas, but also vice versa. There's plenty of times where Joe could be more social and more well-rounded than I am in those areas too, because that's why we get along so well, I think, because you've worked on becoming balanced and where you want to be balanced in your life. We go to that Mormon church. I'm be like, and you're like, I mean, I bet you're like on the show or at a car, like, hey, Bob, hey, Jebediah. I don't know the names of the people out there. How is my biggest fan, old Jeb? How's he doing?
I don't think I've ever actually met a Jebediah in person. Now,
well, we renamed your son that last week, so now you have.
Oh, no, but I've met plenty of other like Ezra, Ezekiel. I've met some of them, but Elijah,
old Hezekiah,
Hecuba, but yeah,
your butt too. So, all right, well, we'd like to hear your answers. Look, you listen on Spotify. Look down. Don't just listen in your car and move on. Pull over, be safe, and look. There's a survey. It's not a survey. It's not a poll. It's a question, basically. And that's the question: would you rather be the smartest kid or the most popular kid? And use whatever scenario you want. We used high school, which is fun. College, no, that's fun. But work, yeah. I like being both at work too, because I tend to play that pretty well.
Well, I mean, if you're the smartest, that generally means a lot more work is going to get dumped on you at work.
That's why I have the big desk at work. Absolutely. But I'm actually not. I mean, everybody has their specialties, all that jazz. So,
so you're in a leadership position. Your job isn't to be the smartest. It's to put the right people in the right positions.
I build teams, so I definitely, yeah. No, I found a place that definitely suited my skills. Is I build teams. Dragon Con. Okay, to be fair, when I walked in to take that over, I absolutely was the smartest and most popular, right? I was very popular in the realm of podcasting. I make friends everywhere because I'm here to help others be awesome. The first thing I usually lead with is, how can I help you? And I did that. But I also came from a big background of producing shows, not just digitally online, but live in the world. One of my favorites that we did was Budweiser, where they brought all their sales team, which is insane. Dude, just the sales people, just the sales team from all over the country, maybe the world, but I think it's good, filled a massive ballroom, and they were giving away 2-week vacations to Bermuda for the top sales for the team. And teams consist of 8 to 10 people. And this thing was, but we put up huge screens, lights. It's like rock concert, but for these corporate weirdos. It was great. And that's where I came from is this long table of, you got the director, you got A1, which is audio, A2, which is audio, V1, video, V2. And everybody has their roles. And so I brought that. But now, I mean, Scott has definitely upped the game, and you have upped the game. And everybody has their specialties, because that's what I do, is I build teams. All that being said, Joe, you got me talking again.
Roll that dice.
And I'm actually on T-Mobile's website right now looking what it would be. What do you love?
What do you love?
I know that one, Mike, even though you have a stroke brain. That is, what are you nerding out about?
It's not actually.
What is is it how to lie?
It's Counselor
your
Dad.
Kids and Mike. We've got to get. Hey, where are the ones from Kurt? Kurt asked us, hey, have you guys got to hear the audio? And I went to check the email, and I'm like, I don't know how to find the audio.
He said that they're on the Google Drive. I don't know where they are, but he said that on the show one. And
that would be under the main.
And but he said they're all in one thing, so we still have to clip them up.
That's fine. We'll definitely take it. I'm getting the Wise and Nerdy right now.
Yeah, we'll get them.
I don't see it. I don't know where he put them. So we need links. And Kurt's working today, and just worked out better for Joe and I to do it in the middle of the day. You figure old man putting around doing nothing would be just down, but all Peepaw Kurt, he's got like, no, my bedtime is at 2. I gotta go to sleep so I can be up at midnight. What do you love? What is this?
Council of Dads.
Council. Oh, I wrote that one. All right, Council of Dads. All right, Joe. And audience, because I have some time. I've got some time. I'm working on this. Can you imagine when I do things, I tend to go overboard and get a little too
never.
Joe, and I hope to God you have an answer, because then we have to change this topic to Counsel Joe on how to be a better husband. But that is how to planning a getaway with the wife. And I kind of want your take on what you do, what you think about, how you even one day could do something special, those kind of things. Because I want to get away at least for a night with my wife. And I'm already in the $2,000 range, because that's kind of how I roll with things. And not that I can afford it. So I'm like, I got to earn $2,000 before the end of September to make this happen. But like, yeah, what do you do?
So my wife doesn't trust people to watch our kids, and they're not quite old enough to be independent and be left alone just yet. So we haven't really left them for more than like a day trip. But yeah. So we've left our kids with the in-laws for, I think the longest we've left them with them is like 8 hours or something.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't judge. That's ridiculous.
And so
wait, side note, I can't remember. I think we talked about are your in-laws like my parents and in-laws, where they think they can't handle kids anymore? Or is that you and your wife's decision? You didn't want to be away that long?
My father-in-law would be fine. My mother-in-law gets overstimulated. And so that's just what she says.
Yeah, fair enough. The answer is basically yes. We won't have to go into details. Basically, yeah. Our families are similar.
Yeah, so we've taken day trips, little jaunts. I mean, 8 hours is enough time to like head down to Atlanta or head up to Knoxville or Nashville. We don't do it often, but we do it every now and again. And we will do an activity there and some food and then come home. So
yeah, I'd say I want a little more than that.
I figured
I have an idea. You want to plan a weekend away? I will be more than happy to come sit that 1,000 up, 1,000 down internet that you got and take care of your kids for 2 days. Because I do not, and my wife would be right on top of that too. She's like, kids, let's go. I got this. So I'm just saying, because you and I are in the same. But when I had my first kid, we wanted to get away, and he was young. I think Aaron was pregnant. We're like, man, we know from the first one we tied up for a long time. I can't remember if it's a birthday trip for me. I can't remember exactly how it played out, but it was this quick little turnaround in Biloxi. Biloxi's about 6 hours away from me. It's a place on the coast where you can go gamble. We love it. And I think we had 2 nights here. So we drove down, got there somewhat late, gambled, spent the night, spent the whole day there. And then I think we had another night, and then we came back the next day. So we gambled some and then came back. I can't remember if it was faster than that or not, but he was definitely old enough that a bottle and everything worked. And the thing was, both sets of grandparents were fighting over who got to keep him. My wife's mother was alive. Now, my wife's mother, if she was alive, there would be no challenge to her, as long as health was not an issue, because she would hurt herself to take care of the kids. She loved that. My father-in-law, we kind of established a no common sense thing there, and the kids. But my parents, with my son all over it. Anytime they could keep them. But as soon as I had a second kid, it was too much. We don't want her. I won't go into all that right now. But yeah, I mean, the best, they can take one right now overnight. Anyway, I digress. Random Kid did find us live on a Friday. So thank you for coming out and hanging out. So I definitely want to sleep somewhere. I want to be away. I want to have, honestly, as much time as I can. And that's my problem, because we do this once, maybe twice a year now. And we had, as somebody had an influx of cash. So we were doing like a trip alone, 2 trips alone, and then a trip with the family, different adventures like that. And I mean, nothing major, but when you're talking about $1,000 or $2,000 each time, that adds up pretty fast.
Oh, yeah.
So you and I both work middle class job. Did you realize you're still middle class, Joe? Did you realize that?
In this economy, I'm not middle class anymore.
You're low class,
right?
Low class, middle class, Holiday Inn. Anyway, no, that's not how it goes. Yeah, I mean, the median income is like $70,000. I'm like, I busted my butt for 20 years to try. I'm not even there yet, but to try to make $100,000 a year, because my God, that'd be so amazing. And by the time I got close, which is the median, I'm around 70, is like, why am I still where I'm at 20 years ago? Struggling sometimes. And oh my God. I mean, it's less of a struggle than making 40. Absolutely. Anyway, that being said, it's not why we digress. So Joe, how do I get from, like, we were looking at trips to Vegas, New York City. Yeah. And I tend to go a little bit bigger on the night. So like, we can leave and travel and then have more time there. So we can leave like a Wednesday evening. So I have Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. We come home Sunday. Well, that's 4 nights. That's a lot. 4 nights, 5 days, right? I know that I'm pushing a lot, and I can probably cut it down more. Because the reason we do it that way is Thursdays, Aaron's covered typically to not have to stay with people. And then we'd only have to ask somebody to take off one day, Friday. And then that would basically give us a long weekend is the idea. There's a good future question. We'll put it in. So yeah, I'd like advice from all the listening audience, from everybody who's putting in. I've heard of a place called cheaptickets.com. And of course, I'll probably cut it down to where we'll travel on Thursday, spend Friday and Saturday having fun, and travel back Sunday sometime. Cut it a little time. I might even cut it down to less than that for cost factors. I do try to, when it's spontaneous like now. We're not going now. We're trying to go to end of September when the weather changes. But that's still kind of spontaneous to plan it. I try to look at driving distances, but rarely do I get my wife to like engage. Like, she's like, sure, whatever, it's fine. Now, for our anniversary, we tend to start planning in the next couple of months. Our anniversary's in January, so we tend to start planning that so we can get an idea of cost and bonuses and those kind of things. Anyway, I ramble, Joe. But yeah, man, everything I ran down, including Jamaica, by the way. Including Jamaica. So here was the list. It was Chicago, because I love Chicago, and I know some stuff about Chicago. New York City, which is one of the most expensive. Vegas is the most expensive right now, which is odd because the last time I tried to plan a trip, it was either go to Harrah's, which is drivable, or Vegas, and Vegas was actually cheaper with flights and everything.
Yeah,
to go
a lot of times flights to Vegas are cheaper because they're subsidized by the casinos.
It's not the flights right now. The casino rates have gone
really
way up. Yeah.
Well, I wonder if they're taking a big hit because of the economy. People don't have extra money to spend on gambling.
And the flood. I don't know if y'all saw the floods last year. Vegas got hit by a lot of stuff.
Oh, okay.
COVID, and then economy, and then, like, when I say floods, it was, I mean, I think it was Caesars. Oh, Caesars got hacked is what it was. All the Caesars chains got hacked, and they went down for days. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. So that's probably it. Yeah, so Vegas, New York, Miami, because she's never been to Miami. Biloxi, of course, because we know how to go there, and Harrah's. And right now we're leaning towards Miami, and we'll have to take a short flight. But flights, I can get some really easy flights that are decent, not Spirit Airlines. This show is not brought to you by Spirit, and honestly, never will, because I did not enjoy riding on Spirit at all. So Caesars got hacked. Did it cause a huge recall on the salads? This is not bad dad joke time, Random Kid. It's not bad dad joke time. All right, so I digress, but how do I get more? How do we get Joe more into my life where he can at least take his wife away for a night and remember what it's like to date her? But also,
my wife has been saving a bunch of websites that she's been hearing about for like getting cruise deals and things like that. Like there was this one website, I can't remember what the website was, but she found or she heard about a website where it has like cruises that are going to be leaving like within the next week or something, but they haven't filled up the cabin, and so they drop
the prices drastically.
And so it's got it keeps a watch on those so that you can get stuff. And according to the video she watched, and you know, your mileage may vary because this is like best case scenario, I'm sure was what they put into the video. Like you can get like 85% off on the cruise by booking last minute, but that also assumes you have a degree of flexibility in your life that you could actually do that. So
and see, that's the interesting thing, right? When you have little kids, you don't. When they get older, you might have some, but when they're gone, you do. But all your money's gone because you spent 20 years raising kids. You really need that last minute save price. I definitely, one of my goals in life is to be able to do what I want with my life. And so I am trying to retweak, and I find that balance between stuff now. Like, here's the biggest thing one of the biggest things that changed from last year to this year, that I could just go, hey, I got a couple thousand saved up. Plus, you know, I always have my emergency fund. So I'm like, this is my fund money saved up. I can go. Well, when you buy a motorcycle, that's $300+ a month. That eats into your going and having fun time sometimes. So there's that. But yeah, everybody, if you want to hit us up, show at show at WNN. No, WNN show. That's it. I knew I got it wrong. You could have said something instead of just waiting for me to hammer it out to then put it up on the screen. WNN show at gmail.com. Email us. Of course, all the socials out there. And if you get Froggy, man, I'm in Miami. I want Charles to come see me and give me the WNN Scott Shakir experience where we'll have a drink together. Well, no. That we have to split. /wise__nerdy. That helps the show out. But you want to help old Charlie boy out, you can go to Linktree/RGOP42. And that just goes straight to me. Joe doesn't get to touch it. All right.
Roll that dice.
You dropped one. You dropped two.
Sure did.
Let Daddy decide.
Is this how do I? Why am I having to ask questions on my own show?
It is how do I.
All right. That one's yours. So while you pick that stuff, I'll get you set up here. How do I be a supportive? It kind of falls into the same thing, right? You know, I want to have time with my wife. Look, I don't know how different I am than most people, but I've actually told my kids in a loving way, but a clear way. It's like, no, I married her. I love you guys. I chose to have you guys, but my goal for you is for you to go out and have your life and ultimately come back and share it with me. And we're a family, but when you're gone, she's still here. That's not just your mom, you know? And that's how I see it. So
that was that one. Spot on. But the how do I is
about parenting.
Yes. How do I be a supportive parent without breaking the bank? Because, you know, new hobbies or interests can be very expensive, whether it's, you know, do
you do Boy Scouts?
Do
you do rec ball? Do you do anything organized? Because that's what I'm hitting at. It's like school, organized stuff. All of a sudden goes cha-ching, 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 real fast. Yeah. Our kids for a while there were bouncing between various sports, and all of a sudden you gotta have all the different sports equipment and everything, and so that is a chunk of change. And then by the next season, especially if they're little, they've grown out of everything, so you have to get them brand new cleats, brand new all kinds of stuff, and so it can definitely be tough on the wallet. I mean, it's a huge time sink too to be a supportive parent. It is time consuming, but you can also try to find in your area other parents who have similar age kids, and maybe they've grown out of a hobby or grown out of equipment
that you can get secondhand instead of buying new.
Yes.
I mean, how often do you hear of people, oh, my kid, he wanted a guitar, he tried learning it for like a month and then gave up on it. You know, you can find secondhand stuff that is going to be a lot cheaper than buying everything brand new. Now, it takes a little bit more asking around, more time to ask around or look up. I don't know. I haven't been on Craigslist in a long time, but you know, that was, I used to go on Craigslist every now and again whenever I wanted to buy something to take a look at. Like that's where I got, me and my wife bought a couple of Nintendo DS's before Road Trip when we were early married, and we bought them on Craigslist, and we saved a whole bunch of money on buying a new one, and we got a bunch of games with it. So like you can definitely find stuff secondhand if you're willing to be somewhat patient, if there's not an immediate need, and if you can wait for stuff to pop up. So yeah, but a lot of times the flits of passion for kids are fleeting. And so I almost kind of wonder if you can get your kids to have a patient mindset like that, if sometimes they'll be like, oh, no, I'm not interested in that anymore. And then you can just avoid it altogether. But at that point, are you truly being a supportive parent, or are you testing to see if they're actually wanting to do it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I like it. Well, first off, you know, we were talking about that used gear. That is key. Ryland, we've had a hard time getting him to plug in and engage. We've tried 4-H. We've tried all kind of different things. And he was just like, nap, 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 nap. And Little League Baseball grabbed him. And not travel ball, because not doing that. You want to know, I'm not a millionaire, and I do work for a living, so I ain't got time for all that jazz. But just regular Little League Baseball. And it does, I mean, besides whatever it costs, it's subsidized through the county at the county recreation department here. And there's still a fee that we have to pay. That's not ridiculous, but it's somewhat up there. When you're talking about one of 4 kids doing something, and then you gotta, get some equipment. Then every time that, Team Mom wants to get, everybody t-shirts and all this other stuff, and it's all optional, but it racks up fast. But the biggest thing is, having to get the gloves and the ball, the bats, and the I think the helmets come with it, but they require a certain type of bat. Then my father-in-law, this is one of his strengths / weaknesses. He will just go and buy the stuff for the kid, but I like what you're talking about, because I have a ton of gear that I don't want to just donate. Oh, well, I mean, I donate to like you, Joe. If you're like, hey, my son starts playing baseball, what do you got? Absolutely. Let me go through and see.
Yeah, if it's a friend or something.
I don't want to just give it to Goodwill, but I would love to maybe get on a website and say, hey, check eBay or something. Here's a much less expensive way to get into it. Just ask for money. Just ask money for kids sports. He's like Alyssa Milano did.
Oh man, she got dragged so bad for that.
Yeah, when you have the ability. Now, we don't know her finances. We don't. We don't.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of celebrities who have spent all their money and don't have any of it anymore.
I mean,
she hasn't really done a ton of acting lately.
Right. Now, you got to imagine the stuff she did do in the past. She probably gets some residuals for, but when's the last time you heard of Who's the Boss? But it's probably on Nick at Night or somewhere, right? So there's residuals there. Charmed, the original series, she was in. And then there was other things. Those are 2 I remember. But yeah, but you do have to understand, when your name is still recognizable at that level, for you to come out and like, help my kid play ball, like, no, good. What were some of your other suggestions?
Finding secondhand stuff was a big one, but also let your kids know that you're looking for secondhand stuff and ask them to be patient, and maybe even include them in the process of looking for it, so that it teaches them a life skill on being able to find good deals online, and to spot potential scams online too, especially with like Facebook Marketplace, where I don't know if Facebook Marketplace has any rules on it, but there are so many scam listings on Facebook Marketplace. And so being able to spot something that seems credible versus something that is obviously a scam can be a very good skill for your kids to learn. But that teaches them to spot scams. It teaches them how to be frugal. It teaches them patience. It teaches them a lot of really good life skills if you include them in that process. So
I agree. And you make it a positive more than a negative. One of the things we've done is openly talk about when somebody's sporting that I'm making this up, but then, that high-end Nike baseball cleat and the name brand bat and all that's, like, it's going to get just as dirty as these shoes. And you know how much that's, let's say those shoes cost $200. We could have bought you shoes, bat, ball, took you to Chuck E. Cheese. And we do some of that stuff too sometimes to teach them, hey, when you save money, you have more to do other things with, and makes it a fun thing. I remember, did you do hand-me-downs when you were a kid? Did you get other people's? And I got somewhat made fun of it for it because we were poor. And we were poor. My mom always had that, well, we can't. But you know what I had at 15, Joe? In the 90s, Michael Jordan Air Nike high tops.
There you go.
You had the pumps even.
Mm-hmm.
I had to Reebok pumps as well. And but those were the big brand things. And this person had outgrown them, and they were like brand. One pair of shoes hadn't even been worn. Now, had I known things about sneakers, I would have held those Mikey Jordans. That's the Wish version. The Mikey Jordan. Blah, 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 blah. That's what they say when you walk. Anyway, you make it, but if you make it a positive, like my kids love to go thrifting. Now that is helpful in our society, that our society has used the term thrifting versus used and those kind of things. Yeah. But it really is good stuff.
And you don't need to get them everything and the biggest and the best of it. Get the cheap stuff and get the bare minimum until to gauge interest, because kids' attitudes towards stuff is often fleeting. And so don't go full ham on it until you know that your kids are willing to put in the time. That will save you a ton of money in the long run too, if you approach it like that. Like when I first got into podcasting, even I started off with a junky headset, to be completely honest, that I was recording off of. And over time, I've built up what I'm using now, which is a million times better than what I started off as. And that's what you should do with your kids' hobbies too, is approach it the same way. You get them entry-level stuff because they are entry-level people.
Yeah. 100%. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just preach, man. They are entry-level. Remember, that's more important to me about the story than the money is, remember, your kid is not the next LeBron James. They just aren't. LeBron James's kid is not the next LeBron James. But that's not something I think Joe's ready to discuss on this show.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, he got recruited because nepotism, but that's
sure did.
Not that he can't be good. He might be better than most people out there, but yeah, that's a bad thing there. But yeah, I'm with you. Also, go local, even if you're not a church person, which I would argue I am not. I definitely grew up in church. I know the systems though. And if a church is offering something, it's the same as paying to the county, except your payment is they have to come to like Wednesday night service or something, right? But there are some churches that definitely put on basketball leagues. Upward, UP, like up, WARD, like the direction, upward, all together. Churches will do that for basketball leagues, and that's how my kids got started. You want to talk about try it out because they're beginners, they're seeing if they like it. That was perfect. The fees were well under $100 per person. Like we're when we were broke and had the 2 older kids ready to go to that age, about 6 and 7, somewhere in there, 5 and 6, we were able to afford to have both of them get into the league because it's highly subsidized through these programs. It's a Christian ministry type thing. So yeah, they had to read some Bible verses. They had to, do the prayer before the game a little bit. But to me, that's payment. And I told them that's like, look, whatever you believe or don't believe, we'll figure that out. I mean, they're 6 and 7, right? We started the basics of those conversations. But that's your payment because you want to go play sports. So this is your way to go play sports because everything was included. All the stuff. There's basketball. I think they had a baseball one, but our area never really picked up on the baseball one. But yeah, those kind of things. And you're right, Randa. He got recruited to put butts in seats, father-son niche to build interest. But also officials. I don't know if he's a coach or what, but I know he's an official with the team. Said no, he straight up got recruited because of nepotism. Because his daddy said that he would quit and go to some other team.
To whatever team picked up his son.
Yeah, to whatever team picked up his son. He would just go play there. You're right on part of it. That's another talk for another night, Joe, about when to let your kids go. And pointy fingers
let them be their own people.
Yeah. And make it on their own.
Roll that dice.
And that while he's doing that, those hobbies include gaming, streaming, any nerdity that you can think of. It's you don't have to get them to your level. Just give them a place to start.
Oh, yeah. Very much.
What are you nerding out about now?
Finally, we got one right. The guy can't be bothered to show up for weeks at a time. All right. Well, you got in first, sir. What are you nerding out about?
Oh, man. The new season of Demon Slayer has come to an end, the Hashira Training Arc, and I'll be honest, most of the season was just build up, but have you watched it yet?
Well, I notoriously got to see the first episode in the theaters.
Okay.
And there's a reason we haven't watched it yet, even though I have Crunchyroll. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah. So that finale, though, it has severely hyped up what's coming next. And the plan that they've announced is, as far as I know, there's no more seasons unless they do what they did before where they take the movie and turn it into a season. Their plan is a 3-movie trilogy to finish up everything else. And so we're going to get 3 movies and it will be done.
I can move with that.
Yeah. But oh boy, yeah, no, that I have seen so many clips on Facebook and whatnot of that final episode, because it is very, very clippable, and it is, yeah, I am very excited to see what's happening. I do think at least one character is gonna have a very big tonal shift between what we have come to know and what we will see in these 3 movies. It hinted at it, and it kind of showed the tonal shift, but we don't know, at least in the anime, we don't know what the underlying reason is for that tonal shift. So, but yeah, no, it was so good. And
well, I know it's not Inosuke because he's not even making an appearance yet.
He was in this season.
He went in the first episode. Doesn't count. They left my boy out.
You're not wrong. He's not in the first 3 or 4 episodes, and it's only 8 episodes long.
But he's need to revolt.
No, but he has a scene in the finale, and it is very on the nose for Inosuke. His reaction is so atypical.
That is all
Inosuke.
That is all I want.
Yeah, I'm trying not to do spoilers because it's huge, but oh man. And I've actually seen a couple of clips of people explaining from the source what wasn't fully explained in the episode. Because there were some weird decisions that I was like, why did they do it like that?
Okay.
And so I've seen a couple of things that were explained as well. And so, yeah, so it's interesting, and it makes a lot more sense once I've heard some of those explanations. But yeah, if you're not watching it, it is so good. And I believe it's Ufotable that's the
production
people
company or whatever.
the production company, and they always have really stunning graphics. Their artists are phenomenal, and they really bring it together with Demon Slayer. Some of their other notable ones are Fate Stay Night. I haven't watched all of the Fate stuff, but Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works was really, really good. If you're wanting something else done by that same company. Again, it is definitely just like Demon Slayer. Well, anime in general, I'm just going to say you should check it out as a parent first before letting your kids watch it, especially if you have young kids like me, because most anime is not necessarily kid friendly. So
that's true.
Especially young kids. But yeah, people are like, oh, yeah, anime, it's a cartoon, it's for kids. No.
I even hesitate talking about some of the stuff. Okay, I can wait. Some of the stuff that I'm actually into, because it is not kid appropriate, but it is really good. But here's AI's take on this right now. Now I want to talk about why I'm not caught up. So I looked up, just said, okay, cool. You said the finale aired. So I just searched Demon Slayer Hashira Training Arc Netflix release date, and AI, of course, Google is everybody's playing with AI. Here's the AI summary. Demon Slayer Hashira Training Arc, the 4th season of the anime series Demon Slayer, premiered on Crunchyroll on May 12th, 2024, with an hour-long episode. So far, it's pretty close. I don't know if that's the exact date, but good enough. The English dub of this first episode premiered on Crunchyroll on June 30th. Okay, I don't know.
I don't
checked it
think
out after
the English
June 30th,
dub is out yet.
It is. That's why I don't.
Has it started coming out? Okay,
yeah.
I have. Okay,
that plays into why I don't watch it right now. And with new episodes following each week, so maybe it's English. I don't know how. I don't think Crunchyroll would separate it like 2 different streams, but it says the finale aired, past tense, aired on August 18th, 2024. You know how many times I looked at that date to make sure I'm like, wait, are we talking about last year? What? No, that's 2024. Wait, so possibly I don't think the English dub would go out in order like the subs does, but maybe it could. But
so yeah, the English dub has started airing, and if it airs once a week, it'll go for 7 more weeks. So that'd be what date was it?
June 30th. It said it aired June 30th is the first.
And what's the August date?
18th.
Yeah, if it airs once a week, it will finish on August 18th. The dub will.
It should, but that's still bad grammatical phrasing. But okay, and that's fine. That's very disappointing that you would do it that way if that were the case, because I do like subbed to a point, but again, you have to be on it. I'm usually doing other things no matter what. So I got Crunchyroll. I did have to break out and buy a Crunchyroll account. Got the cheap one, the $7 one a month or whatever, and I'm enjoying it. And so I told Zoe, it's like, hey, we can actually go ahead and jump in. And I said we may have to read the screen, which we were good with. We went to the look. I cannot stress enough. If there's that Fathom event that you get to watch the Demon Slayer Con, whatever they call it, in, I presume, probably not Tokyo. I think it was a different town, but in the hometown of Demon Slayer, okay, in their home country, it's worth it. It is dubbed the whole time, but it is so worth it. It's so much fun. And they're the actual voice actors of the Japanese one. But here was my problem. We did start it. Now that it's saying the English is on there, the dubbed version is there. I misstated a minute ago. I realized it wasn't the dubbed, it was the sub that we were trying to watch. So that's my bad. I couldn't do it because I've watched every other episode with the English actor voices, that those characters, And of course, there's some translation, right? There's some things that culturally it gets translated different when it's in English, in the way even Tanjiro is just slight differences in his character and how he speaks in the original language. And I'm saying it that way because I feel like an idiot if it's not Japanese, and I think it is, but I'm just saying in the original language versus the dubbed. I've just come to know all of their quirks in the dubbed world. So we watched maybe 5 minutes of the sun, and Zoe was fine with it. I was like, I just couldn't do it because like that's just Tanjiro. He's very respectful, but the way my Tanjiro talks is a little bit more awkward and not socially engaging as well as he should be. Whereas this was like, you're very respectful, almost like an aged man of wisdom with respect. And I just couldn't do it. My ears weren't liking it. My brain wasn't liking it.
Yeah, the inflections were off and everything.
Yeah, just slightly.
Random tangent. Did you know that the English voice actors for Tanjiro and Nezuko are going to be at Dragon Con?
I did know that. Did you know I am trying my damnedest to make a panel that we can ask them to come be on the digital media track. I've yet to find a way to justify it. But yeah, I'm very aware. Very aware. I actually looked at, because we're doing from sketch to screen, how anime and animation is made, and it's by people who are doing it online and those kind of things. So it definitely fits our track. And I looked at their profiles to see if they did anything other than voice acting. Like, because sometimes you can't. I'm a voice actor, plus I helped animate, or I produce, or maybe I do this project on the side that is similar. So yeah, you know me from Demon Slayer, but check out my. They don't right now. I'm trying, Joe. I am so trying to get them in there. That would be fun. So, all right. So now that Phil has zoned out, we're going to bring it to non-anime here. And this is an older game. Doom Eternal came out during COVID, right? It was already scheduled to release. That was perfect release for Doom for two reasons. I mean, it's COVID, so everybody's panicking, and we might have demons outside. We don't know what COVID does. We don't know. You know, Phil does not like it. You were here last week. You were here. We had him on right now, kid. Yes, and I agree. We should convert him. But I was not intending to buy Doom Eternal, but I had that stimulus money right during COVID, and I do love Doom. I just don't make it a habit of trying to keep up with the games as they come out. But I bought it shortly after launch and played it and got about halfway through, as I do with most Doom games. It's just mindless fun for me. I love the violence. That's my kind of violence. I love the demon slaying. I love some of the story behind it, the darkness. It's a little like the music metal I love, but it's almost as if somebody who doesn't understand the world of metal music made this game. Right, because it's that outside view of they're all satanic, and oh my god, everything is always edges and spikes, and it's almost that. There's a little bit of that over the top grossness there. And there's my quote: "I love the violence," but I do very much enjoy the game. I actually got very excited. They just did some big game announcements at whatever freaking game announcement cons going on in the last couple of weeks, and there's a new Doom game coming out, and it's set in more medieval times. So you get more medieval type weapons, because Doom guy is supposed to be ageless, and they're doing a lot of backstory in this game that I'm playing, Doom Eternal. And I'm actually learning some things about it. I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't know that. So right now I'm playing back through Doom Eternal and pushing myself because I want to beat that game, not because it needs to be beaten, but I just like the idea of not missing something, knowing the in references, knowing that I played every Doom version that's ever been out there and beat most of them. So that's what I'm doing right now. But I put a little caveat here. I have a hard time focusing. Doom bundle is currently, thank you, Joe, $28 on Steam, 75% off. If you'll look it up when I finish up, we'll talk about what's in that Doom bundle.
Let's see. Doom 1, Doom 2, Doom 64,
yes,
Doom Eternal, Eternal, The Ancient Gods, Part 1 and Part 2.
That's your DLCs.
And then, some more DLCs, cosmetic skins, sound pack.
Yeah, gotcha.
Doom 3 and Doom 3 expansion.
Yeah, those are okay. Those are not the best.
Oh, so apparently you get two versions of Doom 2, the original and an enhanced re-released version.
That's the better version.
And you get that for Doom 1 too, the regular and the enhanced re-released version.
I wonder if all the old mods would still work. 'Cause I actually played Doom 1, which was not called Doom 1, right? It's just Doom because it was the first one. And got the Barney mod pack, and it turned certain demons into Barney. And when you shot him with the shotgun, you're, I love you, you love me. And you hear this little kid going, shut the bleep up, blam. And it's hilarious. It's stupid, it's bad, but so yeah, I had those. But yeah, that's a good bundle for $28. Being that Doom Eternal is definitely the newest game, and you get the DLCs,
yeah,
it's worth it.
And it's over half the price. So yeah. It's Doom Eternal.
Yeah. The others are just fun to go back and see where it came from and see the different things that have changed throughout the years. But yeah, that's one of the stuff. I do have a hard time focusing because I like beating games. I buy a game or get a game. Because I have the Ultimate Game Pass. I'll download stuff sometimes just to try it, knowing that it'll be a fun little thing, like Hot Wheels Unleashed. Yeah, that was a fun little. I don't do the track builder, but the racing of it was kind of interesting. Other little things like that, tryout games. But I lock onto a game because I want to play it. So currently, I have a game called Control, which is very good. And I got to a part where it's a little bit more difficult than the rest of the game had been. It's about halfway, 2/3 of the way through the game. And I just got a point where I put a controller down and try something different. I still have Diablo 4, which I did beat and build my characters, but I still enjoy playing that. I bought that one back at Christmas. And now I'm trying to finish Doom Eternal. And do you ever do this, Joe? Do you ever squirrel out a little bit and forget that you had a game you were playing because you're like, I need to take a break for a minute, and you play other stuff? Then by the time you come back to that game,
what was I playing?
Exactly. Not just what were you playing, you forget it exists, but you find it in your library, go, oh yeah, I haven't played that in a while. Then you have to start over because you got to relearn
because you can't remember what you were doing.
Yeah, you don't remember the controls, you don't remember how it flows, none of it.
There's some games that, well, controls aside, there's some games that have included like little flashbacks of the key things that you did recently, like the Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, the remakes of the originals. They had that feature where when you would go back in, it would show like, okay, you just beat this gym or you just visited this place as kind of the last couple of things you did since your last, like, key things you did since your last save. So something like that, I found it helpful. Like most of the time, like if you're playing constantly, it's just like, okay, whatever, hurry up, get past this part. I remember what I did, but coming back to it can be very helpful.
I am not dealt with it quite like that, like the flashbacks. Some, like Doom, is a very surface game. It is not deep at all. So you can actually, they have a thing called a codex that will you just go and you quickly read, or even they do these great little tutorials where it's just a quick little video to show you what it means. It's just a 3-4 sentence paragraph. Their tutorials are very bite-sized, and so you can go back through the codex, like, how do I do this? Oh yeah, I can do that, I can do this, and get a very quick refresher. But something like Control, where it's more of an adventure-based game with action, and the story is so good. The story that I want to get back into the story of that, but then I also have to remember how to use the controls and go, oh yeah, this will not play like Doom. I can't go running and gunning through this thing. But also that's the other thing about Doom is it's a Twitch game, meaning not Twitch.tv, but the original meaning of that just you're just moving so fast, and they show it on TV is always just nobody plays like this, right? But that's how it is on TV, where it's all the buttons getting hit at once. And to that point, my brain is very sharp. I'm very skilled. I can definitely play the game. I got to a big boss fight with multiple big bosses in it at once, and I had to drop the difficulty down. I got so close to beating it, but I had to drop the difficulty down to beat it. My 12-year-old playing the game at the same time, so he was right behind me. So okay, you play through, and he was playing on the normal level, and I dropped down to "Please Don't Hurt Me" is the name of the level. But he was able to beat it on the normal level. It's like, cool. I thought maybe because your brain is still just a little bit faster. Just you don't just learn the controls, you internalize it, where I still have to think of things sometimes. Because I haven't, again, that squirrel moment. If you don't play the game all the time, you don't internalize the controls. And that thinking process is that little ping delay that happens.
Oh yeah. Well, and it, like you said, you got to relearn the controls, because when you're into it, those controls become subconscious. Like you don't even think about, oh, I need to press the LB button or the LR button. Like it's just reflexive. You know that's the button you got to push. Get to it. That's why sometimes I've got a couple of games on the Switch, and then I've got games the same game on Steam, and the mapping is slightly different. And it throws me off. Oh for a bit.
Yeah. The only game I've internalized permanently, it feels like, is Borderlands 2 size 3. It's slightly different controls on both, but I can jump into there, not even think, just go. I might have conversations and keep playing. Depending on what's going on.
We're talking a lot about first person shooters, so I've got to ask.
Sure.
Inverted or not inverted?
Not inverted.
Okay.
So I push up, it looks up.
That's most people, is not inverted. Man, I have played inverted for years and years and years, and I blame it on Duke Nukem for the 64, because by default it was inverted. And so that's what I got used to.
I get that, and I know I can invert it. I tend to learn the controls of the game, and maybe that's my problem. Maybe I should pick a style, and then if a game's doing different, adjust it. I do habitually go into change the cursor, whatever you want to call
it. The sensitivity a little bit higher.
The sensitivity, or lower, depending on the game. I can't feel like I'm dragging, but also if I push to the side and not slam to the side, I don't need a push to be all of a sudden I'm looking way over there or moving way over. I need my quotey fingers head movement to move in a certain speed window, and I will tweak that. But yeah, I tend to learn control. So let's say I played Doom and it's regular, then I go play Duke Nukem and it's inverted. I'll just try to remember that, and that could be part of my problem.
Well, and it's only if there is a joystick. So like Minecraft, for instance, where I'm playing with a mouse, I do not invert the y-axis, because my mouse, I am very much used to my mouse going up when I go up. So, but I know of some people who play even Minecraft inverted. But apparently that's because they got used to a lot of flight simulators. And so
and that's what I'm going to ask, if you did a lot of flight simulators.
Pulling down on the mouse is going up and whatnot. Anyway, just a random tangent, thought I'd inquire.
I get it.
Roll that dice.
Don't do it.
Don't
roll that dice.
There we go. I gotta get that roll in there.
Time for a commercial break.
All right. Let's see what we've got here. That's not a full song, Joe. Give me a second. Let's go.
Better stop that before we get.
Don't get copyright strong. All right, here we go. We're gonna do this one. I think we might have done this a little last week. We're gonna do it again this week. It's all good. I like it. Look, come be a part of our famdom, peeps. I don't know. We're gonna come up with something better than famdom. That was AI generated. I don't know. But come play with us. Come hang out. Be a part of the Council of Dads over at patreon.com/wise_in_nerdy. And that'll get you into the group of people who understand you and connect with you the best. We got Random Kid. We got Hugh4RI, who's probably working today. That's why he's not here. We got Bob Magoo. We got Steven Adams. I only said Adam Stevens, which is not his name. It's Steven Adams. We all kind of awesome people that are different nerds, different geeks, and different kind of dads. So come on out and hang out with us. And if you need a daddy figure in your life, we can do that too. So now just take a break, chill out, and stop thinking about how T-Mobile is so much faster than Comcast. Oh, yeah. This is the part of the show we like to come out with the music and then come back with the phone calls. So we have got some speed pipes to play today. If you go to wiseandnerdy.com/call-dad, we'll get your voice on right away or whenever we record, because sometimes we go weeks without playing these things. But no, we do. We do like them. I love them to death. And thanks for calling. So who is our first caller today, Joe?
We've got one from Devo Site.
Joe, I'm with you. I kind of enjoy the Planet of the Apes franchises. I'd say it's one of my favorites because it's one of the first apocalyptic, decline of human because of AI, ape intelligence.
I knew we'd do it. I felt that one coming. As soon as he said, I don't know. Play it again. I'll tell you when to stop.
Okay.
Joe, I'm with you. I kind of enjoy the Planet of the Apes franchises. I'd say it's one of my favorites because it's one of the first apocalyptic,
when he's like, I say it's
decline of human because of AI,
like,
ape intelligence.
Bad joke. I knew it. As soon as I was like,
his timber.
That's a setup. That's a setup all day long. All right, what's next?
That is it for the speak pipes.
Well, thank you, Devo. I believe it's Devo I've been chatting with, and I get, just because I don't interact enough when it's, voice tell the difference all day long. When I'm looking at the name, obviously you can tell the difference all day long, but it kind of merges in my brain of when I chat randomly with Devo or with cousin Mike, civilian on bass. But I know, oh yeah, Rando, we'll talk about that in a second. I know that I know who they are. And I did do my line recording for one of them. I think it was Devo recently. But yeah, we were talking about how sometimes in the car they listen to the Patreon and like, yeah, always call in whatever you want. And I understand quality can vary. And we just I love hearing people's insights. Call in the question of the week. You want to answer it? Answer it. We don't care if you're 4 episodes behind. We don't care if you picked it up from last year and you want to call in like, hey, I just listened to an episode and here was a question. We'll go back and find what we asked. We'll figure that out. And we could probably infer by context. I've always hated that about myself, as I'll be like with Daily Tech News Show. I probably say about a month behind because they literally are cranking out one a day, 5 days a week. And I have other podcasts I listen to. But every once in a while I'll hear something they're talking about and I'll have a thought and I want to share it. Then I go, I'm 3 weeks behind. They've done 15 other episodes. I don't know if they want to hear my thoughts on that because it's a very tight show. Yeah. And I should just submit it. So I'm saying to you, just submit it. Now, before we move on, we're going to kiss it. Anyone else sad that the Paul versus Tyson fight got canceled? Did it get canceled or did it get moved? Because the last I heard, which has not been in the last couple of days, so last week or before, it was supposed to be now, roughly, like just end of June, and they postponed it due to Mike Tyson's health. Actually, something going on with him. And it was postponed to November, is what they announced. So I'm just curious if they actually had said it's fully canceled now. I think they would wait, but I think hopefully it's not canceled. Hopefully it's just postponed because Tyson is going to wreck Paul. And I have nothing against Logan Paul. But I'm Gen X all the way. And one of our icons is Mike Tyson, greatest of all time. You get wrecked. Has he lost once or twice? He's lost once or twice, and there's reasons for that. But his record stands. He is Iron Mike Tyson. And, dude,
yep. I don't know. Is it? I have no idea. I haven't been keeping up with it. But I agree with you. Tyson, if it happens, Tyson is going to win.
So since Devo set us up and it's Random Kid's favorite, why don't we just roll on into the inevitable and rip the Band-Aid? I actually have one
jokes that
is a rebuttal, I think.
A rebuttal bad dad joke?
More or less.
How does that work?
You'll see.
So if you didn't hear, it's
Waka waka bad dad jokes.
All right, so this comes to us from Casey J. Says,
"How you liked me, Casey?"
I was watching Australian MasterChef last night. Some guy made a meringue and everybody cheered. I thought, That's odd. Normally in Australia, they boomerang.
You're laughing so hard at that. It makes me laugh. But it is so bad. It is so bad. Have a little bit with Phil. You leave like zero time for the punchline. You just ran right into it, which makes it even more entertaining for me. I love it. So, rebuttal. I put the bad dad jokes. Just remember, you asked for this. I once saw two kids beating up another kid, so I stepped in to help. He didn't stand a chance against all three of us.
That's horrible.
What's better? It comes with the Riker Picard meme.
Oh man.
So yeah. All right, cool. Oh, look at that. We're into Daddy Tell Me a Story time.
No. Hold on.
What?
We need
No,
to roll. Hold on. I need to roll the dice.
Let Daddy decide.
No. All right. We have a different segment we need to do first.
Oh, there's no other segments.
Sure there is. Hold on.
Fatherly advice.
All right. I've got something for the fatherly advice section. Are you ready?
Why wouldn't that go under Council of Dads? All right.
Because I have something specific for it. Are you ready?
This is why we buy you the used podcast gear, because you're figuring it out. It's okay. Go ahead. Fatherly advice.
Hey, Dad. May I ask you for some advice, please?
Sure, son.
So at work, my boss is trying to act like he's really cool, but like he's really just acting like a jerk.
Yeah, that's tough. Well, here's a story that my father told me that might help. A man was walking along the beach in deep thought. At work, things weren't so good. His boss was overbearing and never asking him to work late and on weekends. To make things worse, the boss had decided, for reasons unknown, that they were friends. Coming to his cubicle, trying to chat it up with him over nonsensical topics the man really didn't care about. As he walked, thinking about what to do, he came across a beautiful, ornate bottle. He picked it up, opened it, and out popped a genie. The genie rose in the air and looked down upon him and said,
"O great master of the bottle, I will grant you 3 wishes."
A joy he hadn't felt for a long time washed over him, but before he could say anything, the genie, with a mischievous but sad look in his eyes, said,
"I was placed in the bottle under a curse. There are stipulations. You cannot wish to release me, for I can only be released if my master dies not having asked for any wishes. You cannot wish to harm another person, and for every one of your wishes, the one who you despise the most in life, such as Mike Woodard, will receive double."
He sat down on the beach and began to think long and hard, for he knew his boss would be the one to benefit from his wishes.
For my first wish, I want a beautiful beachfront house that I can live in for the rest of my life.
The genie said,
"Your wish is my command."
That's it? That's not all of it.
You messed it up, Joe.
Oh, no.
You messed it up. There's probably a time link on the button.
I didn't preview it, but I guess we'll have to get part 2 next time.
I messed that up. That's a long comment. I want to hear how it plays out. All
right, Devo site, you better get on it, because I did not preview that ahead of time, and it cut right off.
Now, are you sure that it cut off, or did you put it on a button? Because sometimes it has a time.
Let me
see if
double check. Well, because I had to convert it,
it
because he sent it to us as a...
All right. So yeah, we'll work on it later. We'll definitely address it next week. Maybe when Kurt's back, we can play the whole thing from start to finish.
Yeah.
This is a Malort. This is a Malort situation. We're gonna ask something in a way that I'm like, yeah, and then I get tricked. So
always tricked. All right, so the actual file is 3 minutes, and how long is the one that
That was not 3 minutes that you played. It's maybe a minute and a half.
So maybe something went wrong with the conversion process. Yep. Should I try to convert it real quick, or should I?
No, we'll do it next week. Kurt will be in. It'll be fun.
All right. Next time maybe on Fatherly Advice.
Tell me a story, Joe, of hacking your cousin's phone.
Yes, and I put hacking in quotes because it was definitely not actually hacking, more of social engineering. But one of my early cell phones that I had, not the first cell phone I had, but I have never seen a Bluetooth interface the same way. It gave ridiculous amounts of control. So it could request to Bluetooth connect to other phones. And so I was just sitting there at my cousin's house, and I just went ahead to see what would happen. I clicked she had her Bluetooth turned on, and I sent a request to connect to her phone. And I don't know what she thought the request was. It was just, it shows up, because I've seen it on other people's phones. It shows up as just a generic Bluetooth device wants to connect. Do you accept? Like, will you let it connect type of thing? And so I connected to her cell phone, and my phone, and this is before smartphones were really a thing. Like the first iPhone might have been out, but like this is just a normal. It wasn't even a flip phone. It was like a slide phone to get the to the keyboard on it. And so it granted me access to her entire file structure, and I could download any of the files that I wanted from her phone to my phone, whether it be embarrassing pictures or whatever.
Yo, you be careful there.
And so she didn't have any embarrassing pictures on there, but I ripped a couple of the photos off of there, and I'm like, hey, do you like this photo? And she was like, what? Huh? I'm like, don't accept random Bluetooth requests. Yeah, I did it a couple of different times in lectures at college to see if anyone would randomly accept. No one did, which is good, but yeah,
well, what did you go to school for? Not where, but what?
Computer science was my major.
But not specifically, I'm sure it covers some cybersecurity, but not like
it does. But where I tried it was in my general's classes. I didn't try it. I was about to say, it
depends on where you tried it. They better not.
Yeah, no.
Instantly, like, teach, they all failed.
Yeah, but I mean, there were a couple of times when on the campus Wi-Fi, I had a Mac at the time, and I could look at the network connected stuff, and you can, on a Mac, you can set stuff as publicly accessible files. And so there were a couple of times where if you set it as publicly accessible, they don't have to accept a request. You are connected you're on the same internet. So there were a couple of times where I could see other people's files that they had left as publicly. Yep. And so there were a couple of times where I was like, oh, this is a whole bunch of music. I like that song. I like that song. And so I grabbed their files and copied them over to my computer because they left it open. So yeah, basically the moral of the story is don't
be Joe's cousin.
Don't connect. Don't establish random connections, and make sure you know your privacy settings if you are on a publicly accessible internet connection.
I still, to this day, I mean, within the last couple of weeks, I am surprised by people who have their AirDrop open, from Apple.
Oh yeah, just leave it open.
Because that's how I transfer files to my computer, and I have it connected, and I have it set to, whatever, friends only or connection, whatever. And the newest iPhone stuff, iOS is. I don't know if there's a way around it, I guess, but the newest iOS devices will say, like, if I say from anybody, it'll be for like the next 10 minutes, and it automatically shuts off. I don't remember if I set that up that way or if it's default, but it just blows my mind to go I'll be in a public place and start to share from my phone to my Mac. And before my Mac pops up, there'll be 3 other people around me. I almost said kids because random kid popped up, but there'll be 3 other people around me that says I can drop photos and files to them. I'm like, That's how people get in trouble.
Yep.
As says Apple shut down airdrops in parts of China because people were using it to spread anti-government pamphlets. Yeah, I'm sure the Chinese government made them shut that down. But you also have the issues where you talk about the random pictures that are being sent to people. I am getting all froggy again. Skippity dippity. I don't know what's going on here. We're gonna keep powering through. So it's almost there now. But yeah, Joe, what's the weirdest thing that somebody's tried to randomly? It doesn't have to be like airdrop, but also I don't mean scams, but something showed up in your text messages or your email or a Bluetooth request, your phone. What's one of the random moments that's happened?
I mean, the things that I think of are usually scams. Like, most of the reason why I put my Facebook account to where only friends of friends can send me requests is because a bunch of scam accounts of scantily clad women are like, I want to be your friend. I'm like, no, thank you. Mr. 30-year-old virgin man down in your parents' basement, I do not want to be your friend.
That's such a stereotype, man. It is not a 30-year-old virgin. It is somebody in Nigeria trying to get money from you. Okay? Yeah. Stop stereotyping, Joe.
Hey, but at least those people are royalty.
It's true. True. Like, yeah.
Or, I mean, these aren't necessarily scams, but all the different people, especially in the last year and a half, cold calling or cold texting and being like, hey, you want to sell your house? I'm like, no, I do not.
Oh, yeah. No,
especially in this economy, no. I bought at the right time. My percentage is quite low, especially compared to today's percentages. I could not, if I was to sell this house, I could not turn around and afford to buy it because it would be worth too much compared to what I paid for it. So
no, I hear you. Do you get the ones, now we're going to digress into scams a little bit. Do you get the ones where it's the wrong address, the wrong name of the person? Like you're not that name. Like for me personally, it's been, hey, Wendy, your house at 682 Cherry Street, I saw it's for sale. And I'd love to talk to you, but it's that, oh, I sent the wrong message. You get those?
Mm-hmm. No, usually they have my name and my actual address when they sent it to me. Hey, Joseph. And I'm like, yeah.
That might not be a scam. It might be.
No, I think
in the market. But
yeah,
still,
I think a lot of them I think a lot of them are legitimately trying to purchase. At least I assume so. But and I've had a couple of them where I've responded to them or in the call where they've been like, "So you want to sell your house?" I'm like, "Sure." If you're willing to pay 4 times more than what the actual value of it is. They're like, one person even went as far as like, what have you done to make it worth that much? Nothing. I've done nothing. If you want it, that's what it would take me to get out of it because frankly, I don't want to leave. So I'm not saying that there isn't a price. I wouldn't be there's a price, but
there's always a price.
You're not willing to pay it. And that's what I convey to them. I don't usually do that, but I've done that a handful of times where I'm like, sure, give me $1 million and I'll get out of this house.
Yeah. I've gone so far as be like, thank God we just killed Wendy. Can you send over a cleaning crew? Those guys because here's the thing, for the last 10 plus years, I haven't owned a house. It's not been my house to sell, but I'm getting them. Now, a little bit of knowledge on your part will go a long way to avoid scams. And then what I want to talk about happened to me today, like it popped up on my text message. I am happening to be expecting a package coming from USPS or via USPS, United States Postal Service, today. And today I get a random USPS text, which they do not text.
USPS.
Yeah. Like FedEx, anytime I track, I have to go in because I don't set up the account this way. I have to go in and say, yes, I want text alerts. So I know exactly when FedEx will be texting me and it's something expected. And I know what the messages look like. So you need to know kind of basics, but you need to know what a foreign phone number looks like. In the United States, we're used to doing I'm going to use like the Hollywood version of fives, right? We're used to seeing the two sets of 3 and then a set of 4, like 555, 555, 5555, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's what but in reality, for the global scale, is +1, 555, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And because the United States code
is number 1.
Because we invented it, I do believe. We invented the codes. I mean, well, we know we invented the phone. So Alexander Graham Bell, unless history's lied to me, which is possible. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. You need to know everything else looks different. And when you have a +1 and you're in the United States, even a +1, if you're in the United States, nothing will ever look like that. It will be the 3, 3, 4. It won't even be the 1, 3, 3 numbers, 4 numbers. It will be just that. So it was a plus, and I don't know, 1, 7, and then that number. It's like, message from USPS. Your package is on the way, but it has incomplete data. Click this link. I'm like, that's not even an American phone number. That's not even a United States one. Just by realizing that moment. This is your dad moment of the day, brought to you by T-Mobile. If you need a little pink in your life, like all dads do, T-Mobile.com has got you. But no, the dad advice of the day is educate yourself. Here's one little fact. The phone system is global. And every country has a country code. And other countries, some do, some don't. Not every country follows the 3 numbers, 4 numbers format. So anything that doesn't look right to you, Google it separately. Do not click links. Do not. Yeah, a little bit of skepticism goes a long way. Absolutely, Random Kid. And then never click a link in that text message. Not ever. Just delete it. And if you're really good, well, but Charles, you had a packet. Yeah. Okay. You know what else happens? My local post office has the ability to send me emails and saying, hey, here's what's coming to you today. And I happen to have that email in my email.
Or there's a tracking number that's in your confirmation email. Don't click that link. Go to the actual website, put it in yourself, and put in the tracking information and say, oh, I guess there's no issues. It's rare that they ever reach out to you beyond...
Oh yeah.
Beyond a note saying, "Hey, we needed your signature on this because this is certified mail. We came. We will stop back at the." Like they put a little Post-it on your door to let you know that they stopped there.
And even that's a scam, but it's the other way. Half the time, and this is proven with multiple videos, they won't even ring the doorbell. They just run up and stick a sticker on your door and run away. Why would you do that? You were here. Why would you? I actually saw
Job
TikTok.
Security.
I saw a TikTok of 2 people together at one time coming out to this house to prove that nobody's home, and it's caught on the Ring camera, and I can't get close to my camera to do it, but you can see on the camera the guy's fingers hovering away from the button, and the guy's telling him to move this way, move that. So they're taking a picture to look like he's actively hitting the button. But the Ring footage is what you're seeing on my camera right now. Is obviously I'm not hitting anything,
not touching it,
but that's neither here nor there. The other thing to do with that kind of, hey, your package, blah, 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 wait for a day. If it's time sensitive, one, you should know everything Joe talked about, tracking numbers. Amazon, you can go right into just log into your account normally. You could track it from there. It'll link out to where it shipped it, all that stuff. But just wait. If today my package hadn't come, I just logged into it's actually from TikTok store. So I logged into the TikTok store to look at it. I would use a tracking number. Patience is your friend. What gets you caught by scams is a ippity dippity Russian. I've been the rock god of ippity dippity today. Thank you, Joe, for changing the title. We'll see you again next week. Love you all.
Follow these nerdy dads on social media. Charles at Rock God of Podcasting. Joe at Joseph_Ard. Check out the website, wiseandnerdy.com. And as always, they may not be your father, but they'll always be your daddy.
Hashtag shut up, Mike. Check out Video by Kurt everywhere. And all of our friends, wherever Botched and Horseshoes and Hand Grenades and Bob Magoo can be found. Sales by Bob! Ippity freaking stippity, dude. Da day.
Dun, dun, dun.
I broke at the end. It's a scam.
It's a scam. Yeah. But yeah,